What's good, creative family? It's your boy JustBWise, and today we're talking OBS, live streaming, and all that jazz. So let's get it. So now every day, more and more people are starting to join into video creation. And part of having a nice online real estate is live streaming, which I plan on doing some more of. So let me know, go ahead and vote up here in the card above to let me know if you like more video production live.
Mommy?
I'm daddy, stop calling me mommy. If you would like more video production live streaming talks or photo talks. Now, live streaming today is quite simple. You know, you could just set your phone up somewhere, hang it up, boom, hit live, and you're live. However, if you want to take your live stream to be a little bit more produced, it will take a little bit more work and also additional software, which is why OBS is so dope. One, because it's free, and two, because it's way more robust than you may think. So that's why we're going to talk about OBS today, because it can take you from having just your camera pointed at your face to something where it keeps your viewers engaged and actually part of what's going on in your stream. So let's hop into it. Now, remember, this is just going to be the basics today. So if you want more advanced tutorials, I will be creating a playlist of OBS tutorials that I'll link below. And as I make more advanced videos, they'll all be in the playlist below. Also, right here, I will have a timestamp of everything that we're going to be talking about today. So if you don't need the basics of basics, you want to learn how to do something specific that I go over today, you can just skip ahead. All right. Let's get started. So let's start and find out, where do you actually go to get OBS? It's as easy as typing in OBS into Google, open broadcast software, bam. Open Windows, Mac, Linux, download, install is easy. Arise enjoying herself. Don't let that stop you from learning, fam. Okay. So yeah, once you do that, you get it all set up. Your OBS when you first start should look very, very similar to what you see here, right? Okay, so we're gonna start off just by going over everything that you see on the screen. So you first have an understanding of what these different areas mean. Then after that, we can hop into actually getting your first scene set up. Okay, let's do it. Speaking of scenes, here is your scene. So we're actually going to edit this first one that says scene. We're going to rename it to live stream. Okay, so essentially what a scene is your layout. So to kind of describe it in a better way, let me do this. Okay, so this is the different gamer scenes I have for my Twitch channel, right? So when I'm about to start a stream, my scene looks like this. So I have this scene specifically set up only for before the stream begins. After that, I have stream when I'm actually playing a game, and it's set up like this. Here, you can't actually see what's going on because I have it black on purpose, but here's where I would have the gameplay, and here's where I would have my webcam. Obviously the webcam's not there because it's on the other OBS that I'm using to record this all right now. Okay, so then I have a separate scene for if I have to go do something but the stream's not over, I'll be right back scene. And the final scene is when the stream is ending. Okay, so each scene is a different layout for whatever situation I'm in. Now, if you notice, this scene only has 2 sources in them. Now let's talk about what sources are. Okay, hopefully you understand scenes. Scenes are made from sources. Okay, so each scene, the layout is going to be depending on what sources you have. So let's go back to one of my gaming scenes here. And now in this gaming scene, I have my microphone, my overlays, which is this frame border right here, as well as this here. And also I have in my overlay, I have alerts that will pop up. So if somebody starts to follow me on the stream, it'll give the nice little sound effect as well as an animation that shows their name and that they're following me. The webcam, obviously you can't see it, but it would be in this area here. Game capture, which is capturing the gameplay, which is right here. Okay. And also if I'm doing something else, a game where I can't capture the gameplay and I have to use my screen, I'm capturing the specific screen. And if I want music, I use this for music. So this scene has many different sources. Now, let me break down what sources are, which you probably already understand, but just to make sure. So each source is that specific input or output that you want to put into your recording or your stream. So again, just to go over, my mic source is right here. This is my actual microphone. When I plug that in, I set up OBS to receive from the mic. Overlay, this is what's called a browser source. We're gonna go over, actually, let's do that now. Let's see if I wanted to set up an additional scene. These are all the different options you have, right? So as far as basics go, here's what's important for you to know. Audio input capture, microphone. Browser is for overlays. Display capture is for your screen or your two screens or whatever. Game capture doesn't necessarily have to be a game, but game capture has a certain software in there that detects when it takes up your full screen, which typically that's what games do. Image, sure, but media source, you can play videos. So you can set up a media source to play videos, and video capture device is something like an Elgato capture card or something like that that is set up to capture the video from an off computer device like a PlayStation or a DSLR. Okay, so those are sources. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so if we keep moving to the right, now we're into our audio mixer. In the audio mixer, it's just exactly as it says it is. You mix your music here. So if I had my microphone going, let's do that. I'm afraid to do this because it's gonna, oh, okay, I can just cut that out. So I have my mic audio here and I have my onboard computer audio here. Now, I feel like my mic is kind of peaking just a tad, so I can turn that down and do something like that. Now you can mix your audio and make sure it sounds good. That's all well and dandy, whatever. That's not a big deal. This is super easy to do here. Some of the other things that are a little bit more advanced that are cool is you right click and there's filters that you can do. And this is also for your sources too. You can add filters and stuff like that. Not talking about that today, but something that you should know is the advanced properties. Now here is where you have all the audio devices that you have, and you can set them up in different ways. So there's three options. You can have the monitor off, so only your viewers will hear what's going on. You can have the monitor on, but it's gonna mute your output, so only you can hear what's going on. Or you can have the monitor on and the output on, so your viewers can hear what's going on as well as you can hear it. Now, the way I have most of my stuff set up is I don't need to hear any of it. I've already done that ahead of time, mixed everything like I like. I turn the monitor off on everything and only the viewers can hear it. I do that so I can kind of make sure I don't have anything playing twice. So for instance, if I were to put my mic onto monitor and output, now not only are they gonna hear my mic here, they're gonna hear my mic here, so they're gonna hear my mic twice. So I just keep that off, because even if I put it only for monitor only, now as you can see, it's still showing here and it's showing it's coming out of the display audio. So for me, I don't need to hear myself because whatever I hear is gonna come out of my desktop audio. So I don't need to hear myself, I just cut it out. All right, so let's keep moving over to the right. Now we're gonna talk about scene transitions. So for instance, we have, let's go back to my starting soon scene, right? Okay, so I have my starting soon scene fired up here. And I have quick keys set up, so if I want to transition from one to another, as you can see, I notated what quick keys are here. Don't worry about 2 F9s here. But if I hit F10, it's gonna go to my Be Right Back scene. And it's kind of hard to see, but there's like a little bleed effect that goes on there. And that's because that's what I have here with my Luma wipe. Now we can change this. Let's change it to a fade, right? Now let's go back to the starting soon, and you can see it just fades out, right? So you can change your different scene transitions here to whatever you like. There's a bunch of different ones that you can change it to. Now let's just keep moving over to the right, and we're gonna head to controls. So this, very self-explanatory. Start streaming, you start your stream. Start recording, you start recording. Studio mode, not as self-explanatory. Let's go ahead and click that so you can see what it looks like. Bam. Okay, so now what studio mode does for you is the left side is what getting ready to put onto the screen, and the right side is what the viewers are already seeing on the screen, right? So let's say we go to one of my gaming things here. Bam. Okay, so we're in the Be Right Back screen. This is what you guys will be seeing on the stream if I was streaming. And I will be here to see, okay, when I'm ready to transition, I can do my thing, right? So you can just transition, bam, brings it over, flips back over here. So if I need to transition back to this, I can do it anytime, bam. And you can always change it to see whatever it is that you need to put it onto. What I will say is if you don't have a more beefed up computer, and you're doing something already on your computer, this is probably not what you want to do. As you can see, my CPU is at 8.5. I'm gonna take off studio mode, and this is gonna drop down. Yep, it already went down to 6.8. So it does use more CPU power when you're using studio mode, and yeah, it's still dropping down. It's gonna keep going down. But yeah, that's not something that you wanna do, okay? Unless you have the power in your computer to do it, and it's not gonna mess up your CPU, because what can happen is your frame rate can get messed up and you can have a stuttery video, and really at the end of the day, you want it to look as clean and as smooth as possible. So it does make your life a little easier, but it's not that big of a difference. Okay, so after studio mode, we have settings. So let's hop into some of the important settings. Okay, so the first setting here is general, not super important. There's nothing here that we really need to go over that's gonna affect anything that you're doing. We can go to stream. This is where you actually set up whatever you're streaming on. So if you're streaming on Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, Facebook, Twitter, everything except for Instagram, as far as I know, you can do your thing. Okay, moving down, we're gonna go to output. Now, with video bitrate, depending on the quality of your stream, depends on your bitrate. So, for instance, if you're doing 1080p stream at 60 frames, your bitrate needs to fall between 4,500 to 6,000. If it's 1080p at 30 frames, it should be between 3,500 to 5,000. 720p, 60 frames, 3,500, 5,000, very like the same as 1080p 30. And then finally 720p 30 frames, 2,500 to 4,000. Now, if you're doing more or less than that, I would research based off of the streaming platform that you're using to see what they suggest that you do. So this I got from Twitch. YouTube's is very, very similar to these numbers. So I take it across the board, that's probably around what you want. So if you're doing something more high quality, like 4K or something like that, I don't know, you may want to check first with YouTube to see what your video bitrate needs to be at before you start streaming. Next thing under that is encoder. Unless you have a very specific graphics card, you're going to be using software X264. But if you do have like an NVIDIA graphics card, like a high quality graphics card, using your encoder or your graphics card to encode your live streaming, your videos, is gonna make it easier on your computer so that it can do the multi-processing that it needs to do. So if you have a high quality graphics card, use the NVENC, use the hardware version. If you don't, then you ain't got no choice. You're only gonna have one option. That's gonna be software, so it doesn't matter. Audio, not really much that I would say you need to come in here and mess with. I'll leave it as is. Don't have to play with that. Video, this is where you'll set up what your quality is gonna be ahead of time. So if you know you're gonna be shooting at 1080p, bam. So I'm break this down real quick. The base, this is what is coming in to OBS. So if whatever is coming into OBS is 1080p, leave this at 1080p. This is what's going out. So if you want to do your stream at a lower resolution because your computer can't handle it and you need to do 720p, that's fine. Change that here. Also the same here. Change your frame rates here. Okay, easy. Hotkeys, pretty much just set up on your keyboard what you want to do. Like I said before, to switch to a specific scene, I have some F keys set up here. So I have those hotkeys set up. I don't really have a bunch of hotkeys set up, so I just leave it for the most part. Advanced, this is basic tutorial, so we're not talking about none of this advanced stuff. Okay, now that we've done a rundown to get a lay of the land, I really hope you guys are comfortable with what and where everything is so we can set up our first live stream. Let's do that right now. Okay, so now that we're back at our regular looking platform where this should be similar to what you already have, right? So let's start making our live stream. So we have our scene. You want to right click to change the name. We can change the name to live stream, rename. We've already named it to live stream. So now what we want to do before we do anything else is set up what our layout is going to look like, right? So let's say you want to do a Photoshop tutorial. Okay. So first thing we need is a microphone because you got to talk to people, right? So your microphone should already be plugged into your computer or laptop, whatever, plug it in. And then we're going to go to audio input capture and we're going to say this is my mic. Okay, bam, my mic. And now it's going to use the default. So whatever your computer is saying is your default microphone, that's what it's going to revert to. Now, let's say you are using a laptop and has a built-in mic. You don't want to use that. You can be very specific and pick whatever you want. Now, my microphone that I'm using is running through a plug. So it's this. However, I could use my webcam microphone, or I could use, if my Elgato is plugged into anything, I could use my Elgato microphone. But for the sake of the tutorial, default, just to keep it easy, boom. Now, next thing, we happen to have a webcam. So let's add our webcam to that. So we're gonna do another plus here. And for webcam, you're gonna go to video capture device, because webcam, video camera. So, and we're gonna name it webcam, bam. Okay, now it automatically knows, hey, the webcam is a Logitech HD Pro. Now you're not able to see the Logitech's webcam on the screen because it's already being used in OBS running, so you can't see it. However, I am using this, so this is what you're gonna click on. And now you can set up some of these things here. But again, I urge you to just leave it at default. However, just to go through, if you want to change your resolution of your webcam, you do that here. Click on the details. You can change whatever you need. I'm going to leave it on default. So it's going to leave everything for me, right? Now, this is what I will tell you will be helpful for you. If you don't want to set up a separate microphone from the webcam, you can also do this. Come to audio output and you can click use custom device. Come down and now I can actually make what my overhead mic would be come out of my webcam. So I don't have to set up a separate thing for my webcam, but that's already being used, so that's not gonna work. So we don't need that. So we're gonna mute this channel just to make sure we don't get any double audio effects, right? So we're gonna just leave our microphone on. So right now, all you can hear is the microphone. That's it. Next thing we want to do is add our screen. So we're going to do a display capture. We can also do a window capture if we were to open up Photoshop, and you can specifically capture Photoshop and nothing else. Let me see if I can show you that. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show you that right now, but I'm gonna try. Ali's Colorform City, yeah, say hey. So let's try the Photoshop thing. Now we're gonna do the window capture, Photoshop, and let's see, bam, Photoshop's right here, boom, beautiful, right? So we can just only capture Photoshop. Don't have to worry about anyone seeing anything else on your screen. Bam. So now all you can see is Photoshop. Hopefully I don't have anything open on Photoshop that would be crazy, because I'll be stuck. We have our Photoshop open. Now these work as layers. So if I have Photoshop on top, I'm not gonna be able to see my webcam. So I need to pull my webcam up so it's on top. So now we have our webcam set up. Photoshop is set up. And we have our microphone set up, and we're ready to go. We got everything set. I can go in, do my little Photoshop tutorial, and know that everyone's gonna be able to see what's going on. However, there are some other things that we have to do to set up our live stream correctly, right? So one of the things is determine where we're gonna be live streaming from. Then we're gonna come down here to settings, stream, and we have to pick where we're gonna do this. I can't fully show you because there's secret keys that you should not be sharing with anyone, right? So what I will have to do is in another video show you where to find YouTube, Twitch, and all that. Show you everybody where you can actually find your information that you need for live streaming. But when you get that information, you put it in there. It's that easy. Put it in there, and then you can start streaming, start recording, start whatever you gotta do. And that is everything. It's fairly simple. What I would say is some of these things you may need to go in and test to see if it's something that is actually going to be beneficial for you, because some of them you may want to try and it doesn't work out, but for the most part it's that easy. All right, so that's really everything that you need to know as far as how to get started with live streaming using OBS. So if you guys have any questions for any additional topics that you want me to touch on, please make sure to leave it in the comment section below. And if you like the video, please like the video. As a blah, 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 blah. English is your first language. Act like it. And as always, I gave you guys some tools to create. Now go be great. Peace.